Alright, so pull our cards out, get rid of the box, get rid of the 2 jokers. Okay, we don't need those. First thing we got to do is count, make sure we got 52 cards. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, and 52. Okay? Fair enough? Alright. So we got our rich man, we got our porter. Okay? And they're in this fancy hotel. And the rich man says to the porter, he says, you know, I'd like to have some guys come up to my room to play poker with. And the porter says, well, boss man, let me see what I can do for you. So he goes on top of the deck there, give the deck a cut. Okay. So he goes down 1 street, and he goes down 2 streets, and he goes down 3 streets, and he goes down 4 streets, and he goes down 5 streets and 1 house. And the porter comes back. He says, well, boss, I found you some guys and they look pretty wealthy. And the rich man says, well, that's great. Here's a $2 tip. And he says, you know, we'd like to have some ladies come and keep us company. You think you can find us some ladies to come keep us company? He says, well, let me see what I can do. So go ahead and cut the deck. Alright. So he goes down 1 street, and he goes down 2 streets, and he goes down 3 streets, and he goes down 4 streets and 2 houses. And he comes back and he says, well, boss, I found you 4 girls, 2 redheads and 2 brunettes. And he said, well, that's great. Here's another $2 tip for you. He says, but you know, I've been to a lot of hotels and never had service as good. How do you do it? And the porter says, well, I got friends on 6th Street, 7th Street, and 8th Street. And he says, well, that's fantastic. He says, do you think you could get us some gentlemen to come down here and wait on us? And the porter says, well, let me see what I can do. Go ahead and cut the deck. Alright. So he goes down 1 street, and he goes down 2 streets, and he goes down 3 streets, and he goes down 4 streets and 1 house. And the porter comes back. And he says, well, boss, I found you 4 guys to come wait on you and help you out. And funny thing is they're all named Jack. And he says, well, that's great. Here's another $2 tip for you. He says, but I still don't know how you do it. And the porter says, well, I told you, boss, I got friends on 6th Street, 7th Street, and 8th Street. He says, well, that's fantastic. He says, you know, we'd really like to have some whiskey. Do you think it's too late for whiskey? And he says, never too late for whiskey, boss. Go ahead and cut him. Alright, so he goes down 1 street, and he goes down 2 streets, and he goes down 3 streets, and he goes down 4 streets, and 3 houses. Okay. And the porter comes back and he says, hey, boss, I think I did pretty good for you. I got you 4/5 of Ace brand whiskey. And he said, well, that's excellent. Here's another $2 tip for you. And he says, you know, we're running kind of low on cash here, but I got a $40 check. Do you think you could go cash it for me and get $2.20? And he says, well, I don't know. Let me see what I can do. Go ahead and cut the deck. cards here. So he goes down 1 street, and he goes down 2 streets, and he goes down 3 streets and 1 house. Okay, and the porter comes back, and he says, well, boss, I couldn't get you 2 20s, but I hope 4 10s will do. And he says, that's perfect. Here's a $10 tip. There's 2 5s for you. And he says, how old are you anyway? And he says, I'm 46. And he says, that's funny. You don't look a day over 35. And the porter says, well, thank you. And the rich man says, are you married? He goes, yes, sir, I'm married. I got 7 children, 4 boys and 3 girls. And he goes, well,